All right, guys. Well, you couldn't hear me for a second, so I really apologize. I am muted. That is embarrassing. But yes, I am going to be doing this every single Wednesday. I was like thinking, yes, there's tons of Knicks subscribers, but there's also tons of broad NBA subscribers as well, or fans of other teams. And I was like, what other way can I make this show or just the videos more exciting? Talk about top content going on or top news in the Knicks world, but also news going on in the NBA world. And I thought that would be a very good idea to do something like that. And maybe I could have some people on there, and they're never going to have like a full time co host, but maybe if people want to say like their thoughts and stuff like with rookies or anything going on in the Knicks world or NBA world in general, I just thought it would be a lot of fun. But I really do appreciate you guys, your support. You guys are absolutely amazing. I wanted to first off start off with how are you guys? I believe I never went live on Christmas. I think I went live like a day before Christmas. But I hope you guys had a good holiday or whatever you celebrate, because I know everyone celebrates something different. But again, I was muted. I'm sorry, guys. I really do apologize for that. Yeah, no, I didn't think to unmute the mic. But YB Jelly, great supporter of the channel. I really appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. We have Colin in the house, another great supporter. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was muted for a second. Darkness is in the house. How you doing, Darkness? Let's see who else we got in here. Con Turk, thank you so much for being here. I've recognized you and some of the streams for sure, and I believe I've seen you comment on some of the videos. I really appreciate your support. We have Anthony in the house. How you doing, Anthony? Hope you're doing well. Hope the Sixers going like a win streak for you. I'm good. Thanks for asking, Darkness. I greatly appreciate that. We have Joey in the house. He says, first time watcher, and thank you. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. This is my very first episode of this show. I'm going to be doing it every single Wednesday. Yeah, Christmas a few days ago. I hope you guys had a good Christmas, because I don't think I went live on Christmas. I didn't upload anything on Christmas. I think I went live like a day before that on like Christmas Eve. But I hope you guys had a good one, or whatever you celebrate. Everyone celebrates something different, has their own tradition. What's going on, Karen? Thanks so much for being here. Big time supporter as well. But I'm glad you guys are doing well. This is going to be a very action-packed show. I'm going to be talking about some Knicks updates. The Knicks win versus the Cavaliers. That's 2 in a row. We beat the Bucks, of course. That was a big-time win. Crazy win for sure. We did a good job collapsing the paint and forcing them to beat us from the outside. We're going to be doing some game predictions tonight as well. I thought that would be a very good idea. Grizzlies versus Celtics play, just a bunch of great games tonight. I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the 2020 to 21 NBA rookies, my early thoughts on that. We're going to be doing a Q&A finally, and then I'm going to be giving a big shout out to my man that is a member of the channel, and just appreciate all you guys that have been subbed to the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. But we are going to be starting off with the Knicks updates. So let me share my screen right here. It is of Ian Begley. Of course, I made a video on it, but wanted to go live and hear your guys' thoughts on it as well. So let me go to the tweets here. Ian Begley, of course, he's a big reason we have Knicks news and we know what's going on in the Knicks world, even though he said Alex Burks by accident. So we have some good and bad news when it comes to the New York Knicks world. As Knicks Alec Burks, he has a sprained left ankle. So that is not, of course, that wasn't great news before. He was doubtful, but now it is starting to get better. So he is going to be questionable. He's upgraded to questionable for this upcoming game against the Tampa Bay Raptors. Emmanuel quickly, he's starting to get healthy. Of course, he was doubtful coming off that sore left hip injury, of course, against the Indiana Pacers. I believe he collided with Miles Turner, which is starting to get better. I was really scared because I don't think people realize how bad hip injuries can be. So that's really good that he is recovering from that. Austin Rivers, he's starting to practice, being some contact drills, which is great. Of course, the groin injury, Frank usually had those last season, but he's starting to get healthy, which is great for Austin Rivers. I'm really excited to see what impact he's going to bring on defense. He plays very hard, and he's been upgraded to questionable before. He's doubtful and just like absolutely out. Frank Ntilikina hurt once again. I made a video on this. Sprained his right knee. Is not going to be playing in this basketball game. He played some solid defense. But again, we'll get into Frank later if anyone has any questions on that in the Q&A session. What's going on, Alex? Knicks are versus Raptors. Yes, tomorrow. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're doing well as well, Karen. Hope Alex is doing well. If you want to ask me any questions about Julius Randle later, be free to ask them for sure. But yes, those guys, those are the updates. Dennis Smith Jr. is still out with the quad injury. He hasn't been doing much, so I wouldn't say that's like big time news or anything like that. But if you guys have any thoughts on the Frank injury, let me know, because some people like the defense he brings, but there's a reason he's not on the floor that long is because he's just not a great offensive player. He doesn't do a good enough job putting pressure on the defense. His handle isn't great, picks up his dribble really early. His shot's been falling lately from downtown, but he hasn't been shooting a lot of them. But you want to see more aggression for sure from Frank Ntilikina, but he brings defense, and that's something that Knicks fans love, and they love players that play hard. So I get why Frank is a fan favorite, but I love that he plays defense, but you could always get a guy that could play defense and actually stay healthy. And like people say, the best ability is availability, and Frank hasn't really shown that in his NBA career so far. Of course, the ankle injury when it came to rookie training camp, hurting his groin, it seemed like at every trade deadline. But Alec Burks is definitely a guy we desperately need back. He brings a lot of shooting, and he definitely helps out those young guys, because we can't have a bunch of young guys coming off the bench. It just is not good. You need that veteran presence with them for sure. But Emmanuel Quickley, we all know how exciting he is. Hopefully brings a brand new element, or continues to bring that. And now, like, scrolling up right here, like, this is good news on Emmanuel Quickley right here. Tom Thibodeau said Emmanuel Quickley took some contact drills, or just, I guess, in today's practice or scrimmage. And Knicks want to see how he responds tomorrow before making a decision. So he is going to be a game-time decision, most likely. Emmanuel Quickley is questionable, which means there's a 50-50 chance he does play. And we definitely need that shooter to break out of that zone and just scare the Raptors a little bit. They haven't been off to the greatest start. Maybe Ibaka was a big-time loss going to the Clippers. His presence on the defense of the basketball is definitely a big thing for sure. But yes, let me stop sharing my screen. But that was just some news. Let me know down below, like, your thoughts and stuff like that when it comes to that topic. But now we're going to be talking about the Knicks win versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let me pull up the box score for you guys, anyone that wants to see this box score. I was honestly not really entering this game optimistic. This team was 3-0, but are they a true 3-0 basketball team? No, I do not think that whatsoever, especially with Kevin Love being out. He's being evaluated. He's going to be out like 2 to 3 weeks. And, of course, player of the game is Julius Randle. But do I think he was very overrated in this game? Yes, I do. He was really good offensively, but he was really reckless with the basketball. 9 turnovers, but you got to give him credit for maturing his game and looking to pass the basketball more, which you really love to see. But we're going to be starting off with the Cavs in this game. Or actually, we're going to start off with, of course, Bullock was out in this game. So we did not have a lot of players coming off the bench. Or no, not Bullock, Alec Burks. Alec Burks absolutely balled against the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was a big reason we won. We got him on that 1-year, $6 million contract. And let me know down below in the chat, would you want to bring back Alec Burks, or would you want to flip him for draft capital? Because it's always good to have that shooter off the bench, a good veteran to help out these young guys and lead the way, especially coming off the bench, bringing that type of energy. Let me know down below for sure. But yeah, we had like this 8-man rotation. We had Knox off the bench, Noel, Frank Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina brought some spark on defense. Besides that, didn't do much offensively. In 16 minutes, 5 points. He had a plus-minus to +3, so he wasn't negative out there on the basketball court, but still 2 steals. You know, he could be sometimes over-aggressive on the defense side of the basketball. Knox was aggressive. There was like one play did get his ankles broken by Garland, but he did what Knicks fans want to see. Just hit your open threes, and he definitely brought that. Even though last season, he started off shooting like a 40% clip from downtown, and then it really started like the first 15 games in, though, wasn't the biggest sample size, and then he really fell off to like 20-something%. Noel brought his energy, does a good job boxing out, which we desperately need off the bench. Showed his presence, 3 blocks in 16 minutes for sure. Now, getting into the starters, we're going to start off with Julius Randle. Again, these starters played a lot of minutes, 44 minutes, 41, 32, 36, 39, which definitely is a big thing when you have guys like Austin Rivers out, and especially one of your top energy guys off the bench of an Alec Burks. Julius Randle, I thought he played a mature brand of basketball. I really do think that. He's going to have his times that he holds onto the ball too long, where he's really reckless. But when you're in the game for 44 minutes and you're one of the main guys with the ball in your hand, you're going to turn the ball over. But sometimes he over dribbles, but it's Julius Randle. He's going to have those moments for sure. But he finished with a triple-double, 28 points, 11 assists, 12 rebounds. He was all right defensively. Still needs to get better on that side of the ball. Do I expect him to shoot 4 for 4 from downtown every night? No. But he was really efficient, and he actually kept his head up, which you really like to see. Burks has slept on great off the bench when he was on the Sixers. Yeah, he did a good job contributing to them. The Jazz, the Jazz, the Warriors as well. He was the leading scorer there. That was a good pickup by the Sixers, and he did solid in the playoffs. He could definitely shoot that thing, and he's not terrible defensively. He is definitely an underrated shooter in this league. He shot like 40% from three for his NBA career. But I thought Randall played well. Bullock, we needed him to step up, especially with Burks being out in this game. Bullock, like I made the joke that he was entering a front rim contest because it seemed like he was just trying to hit the front rim every time, but his shot was falling 6 for 13, 5 of 9 from downtown. Again, I'm not expecting this every night, but he plays hard on defense. He's definitely that grit and grind type of guy, and you like to see the way Bullock came off of screens and hit his open shots. You really like to see that. Mitchell Robinson, guys, I'm not the biggest Mitchell Robinson fan, but you definitely see the maturity of his game. He's recognizing when to play straight hands up fundamental defense. I love that he's athletic. I love that he can guard the perimeter. But like I said, it doesn't matter if he can't stay on the floor. The best ability is availability. And I do think he may not be the starter of the future just because he doesn't really fit today's NBA. The only way he'll be our starter of the future at the center position if we have like great players around him. We'll need stars around him, in my opinion. He's a lob threat. And guys, it looked like we did not know how to throw an alley-oop to save our lives in this basketball game. I'll get to that later, YB Jelly. But Mitchell Robinson, he had 4 fouls. There was like 1 or 2 like ticky-tacky. Then there was one he was caught off guard by Andre Drummond. He's definitely he has a bigger body. And Mitchell Robinson definitely needs to get stronger. But had a near double-double. I thought he had a good game. He knew where to be on the basketball floor for sure. Getting into Elfrid Payton, I didn't think he was going to shoot this well from 3 once again. Yes, he struggled from the free throw line, but he hit big threes down the stretch, and Randall made big passes when they mattered most, which you just love to see from Julius Randle in this game. He shot 50% from downtown, 2 for 4, 6 of 15, 14 points. He's going to have those moments like, why is he shooting that jump shot coming off of screens? But he almost had a triple-double as well. Could you imagine if Julius Randle and Payton both had triple-doubles? But it seems like they have really good chemistry because they both played together in New Orleans, so they know their brand of basketball for sure. But I definitely liked how Elfrid Payton played in this game. Yes, he could be like reckless and be kind of inaccurate on some passes. Getting into RJ Barrett obviously did not have the greatest of game, and I kind of am tired of the excuses of Julius Randle's very ball dominant, and he's the reason RJ Barrett's not successful. In my opinion, it's plain and simple. RJ Barrett got to be better. He's not the greatest shooter. He has to be more aggressive. Like, he attempted 15 shots. Like, people can't say Randle was the reason that Barrett didn't succeed. Randle had 28 points and attempted 16 shots. Barrett only attempted 1 less shot. RJ Barrett simply needs to be better on both ends of the floor. His handle needs to be better. He tried to do too much, which resulted in the half-court violation. Yes, he does other things, but at the end of the day, he was a top 3 pick, and he's going to put in work, but we need to see that produce out there on the basketball floor for sure. He needs to get better from downtown, and I tried telling some people he needs to shoot the three ball better, and a lot of people were getting excited after he shot 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 from downtown in his NBA debut of this season, whereas his sophomore season debut against the Pacers. But he has to be better. Like he did that so well against the Spurs. His shot was falling and then he fell off. Like, he's not that great of a shooter. I knew that wasn't going to last. But if you want to take something great from this, he shot 4 for 4 from the charity stripe, which you absolutely love to see. And he did a good job rebounding. And even when he had the half-court violation, he did do a good job over and back. He did do a good job overcoming adversity and taking his shot to the basket for a tough, kind of clutch bucket, or kind of just took the game out of the Cavs' reach. But Barrett simply has to be better, in my opinion. But Knox, he hit shots when they matter most. Frank came in and played good defense. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that now. Now we're going to get into the game predictions tonight. I actually think these are some good basketball games, and I'm really excited to get into these personally. Hopefully you guys do end up enjoying these games, but let me read this comment by YB Jelly. Shout out to you. Thanks so much for being a great supporter as always, and let me know if you love this new feature of the comments. I think they look a lot cooler on the StreamYard screen, but I'm reading it off my laptop right here. It says Frank could be a good point guard if he was developed, but he's still young, so can't expect much from him. He is young, but it is his 4th year in the NBA, and you see other guys on the roster run the offense more smooth, and he has no confidence. We kind of have to accept what Frank is at this point. He's an energy guy that's going to get 15 minutes, may hit an occasional 3. But yes, I get your point for sure. Let's get into some other comments. Let me get into the comments. I'm not ignoring you guys. I promise you. I was just trying to get to some of my points here. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Karen. Yeah, it was definitely good to get a W. I will get Seth Curry over Payton. I want a starting caliber point guard. I want one in the draft. What's going on, Karam? Thank you so much for being here, man. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, your Thunder are definitely showing some flashes. If it's Teo Maledon in the limited action he's played, Pokashevsky, I definitely do like your guys' young core. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Isaiah Roby doing some things as well. Mavs do have some work to do. I think they definitely need some new pieces. Josh Richardson needs to step up. See what Powell does. Um, Knicks need a player that sets Mitchell Robinson lobs like Fred VanVleet. We need a point guard. We desperately need a point guard, dude. You're watching the Mavs tonight? There you go. But yeah, we're gonna get into the next topic of the game predictions tonight. You guys be free to leave your game predictions down below as well. It's really weird that there's only 11 people in here. I remember like a lot of people used to join. I don't know if it's just like eventually less people are gonna join or no one's getting notifications, because I know YouTube's been doing a really bad job sending out notifications, or other Knicks content creators are live, and not a lot of people are fans of me just doing like broad NBA and Knicks, but I love both of it, and it is my channel. I'm going to do what makes me happy. But we're going to be getting into the Grizzlies versus Celtics. I was really excited for this game. But then John Morant went down with the bad ankle injury. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. At least it's not as bad as I thought. 3 to 4 weeks. It looks like he rolled his ankle. It's like what RJ did similar last year. And these guys need to stop. Like, he doesn't have the Puma deal, but guys like Marvin Bagley, DeAndre A, and RJ, they just happen to have like injuries with these damn Pumas. DeMarcus Cousins, I made like a conspiracy video on that. But Celtics, they've been all right. They still don't look like they've taken that next step. I appreciate that, Alex. I really do. Suns do look nice. John Morant's going to be out in this basketball game. They need the next man up to step up. Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to have to play well. Brandon Clark. And I actually do like Desmond Bane. I thought he was one of the most underrated players coming out of TCU in this draft. And they need that next man up mentality, and they need these guys to step up. If John Morant was playing this game, I think it would be a totally different basketball game. Just the element of how he runs the floor, his passing. He's gotten better from downtown. He's taken a big scoring leap. But the Celtics, they just have more of Tatum's barrage of moves in his arsenal, Jaylen Brown. The center position is definitely something the Grizzlies are going to try to attack. But I do have the Celtics winning this game. Celtics will breeze this game. Yeah, it's like that's projection, like 3 to 5 weeks. I will be getting into that later. Going all over him. Jaren Jackson Jr. is hurt as well. I did not see that. Wow, that's crazy. So, yeah, the Celtics are going to win that one for sure. Getting into the Hawks versus the Nets now at 7:30 p.m. All right, the Hawks, they're definitely rolling. They're one of the two teams that are undefeated, though, in the Orlando Magic, which they should, though. The Hawks haven't played, like, high-level competition. But they have Trae Young, they have Kevin Huerter, they have Cam Reddish. They drafted Onyeka Okongwu, who has not played yet due to the foot injury. Still have John Collins there that I believe they didn't accept his deal, so he is going to be a free agent. And they have Clint Capella, and they're going to have like just very nice shooters coming off the bench of Gallinari. And now, of course, they brought in that veteran leadership of a Rajon Rondo. They even brought in good defense of Chris Dunn, so their defense is better than last year. But they're taking on the Nets. Kevin Durant had some time to rest. Kyrie Irving, you're not going to expect these guys to have a lot of back-to-backs due to their injuries, or at least Kevin Durant's big-time injury. But I'm sorry, all respect to Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter. I think the Nets are going to win this basketball game. I do think it's going to be closer than people think, but I don't trust the Hawks' defense in this game. DeAndre Hunter is going to have a big-time game if they want to win this. All right, Bucks versus the Heat. Oh, gosh, this is a disaster. This was a disaster. As you guys know, the Bucks lost to my Knicks, and they're like, you know what? Against the Heat, we're about to go off. We're going to go off, but I doubt Jimmy Butler lets that happen again because you know his mindset. But they made a record of most threes in a single NBA game. I believe it was like 28 or 29. They were just killing them. Chris Middleton had a big game. Giannis barely played because it was a blowout from the beginning. But they're going to need guys like Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo to have his passing ability today. And just have a versatile style of play. But I think the Heat are going to seek revenge in this basketball game. I really believe that. I don't think Jimmy Butler is not that type of person to lose. Like, he has that no-nonsense mentality. He's going to make sure they win this game. I just have a feeling the Heat are going to win this. 29, thank you, man. I appreciate that, Dusty. I just have a feeling they're going to have that mentality to win this game. All right, Hornets versus Mavericks. As you guys know, Porzingis is out at the beginning of the season, of course. I believe he tore his other ACL on his other knee, which just sucks. He's such a talented player, pick and pop situations. Of course, I know all about Porzingis. He's going to have spectacular games, but then there's going to be inconsistencies when it comes to his efficiency. He's going to have 30 for like a stretch of 5 games, and then he's going to have maybe like 20 on not the greatest efficiency, like 6 for 18 efficiency. Hornets versus Mavericks. I think this is going to be a closer game than people think. The Mavericks just came off big-time momentum. I remember at halftime, what was it, 71, 20-something? I was like out at like my girlfriend's house, and then Anthony actually texted me this like on my way back. He sent me the score, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? But I was like, Kawhi's out in this basketball game. Paul George showed he can't carry this whole load unless it was just like they didn't come to play. I really didn't understand it whatsoever. I don't care if you have no Kawhi. You should not be losing that bad in that basketball game. But the Hornets, they're a win-now-mo team. They signed Gordon Hayward. They're a smaller market team, so I get why they gave him that much money. LaMelo's coming off the bench, though, because they're this win-now-mo team. Terry Rozier in that lineup. Devontae Graham. You have P.J. Washington. You have guys like Miles Bridges on this team as well, and Cody Zeller. But I do think the Mavericks are going to win this game. I think Luka's going to have a big-time game. All respect to Gordon Hayward, but I don't think he'll be able to hold Luka. I think this is going to go down the stretch, and there's going to be some big-time shots being hit, and I think Josh Richardson's definitely going to step up. Again, it's going to be closer than people think, but the Mavericks will win this game, in my opinion. All right. See, I'm actually excited to see this game. I actually really am excited. Thank you. I appreciate that, Karen. Bucks are the worst team in the NBA. What's going on, Spider Mitchell? Luka dropping 24. Damn, that's like, wait, 24? That's like a specific number right there. There you go, Dark. Is Jimmy hurt? I didn't hear anything about Jimmy Butler being hurt. I didn't hear that. But if someone could let me know with that. But yeah, the Lakers and Spurs, obviously LeBron James, Anthony Davis, unless they're taking a rest because it's LeBron James. It's his birthday. He wants to go out partying. He wants to just do his thing, play with some Beyblades or something. All right, so you got the Lakers versus the Spurs. I actually do like the Spurs' young nucleus of guys, but do I think they're going to win this game? I do not think that whatsoever. I like Keldon Johnson. I like Lonnie Walker. I like this young well, there you go. He's out. So I don't think they're winning that game. I don't. I think they're definitely going to miss his presence out there on the floor. So I think the Heat or the Bucks are going to go back-to-back. Of course, it's a back-to-back game. That's a big-time loss. Oh, yeah, I did actually see that he was hurt. Okay, thank you guys for correcting me there. He has that ankle injury. Yeah, thank you, guy. Yes. I like Keldon Johnson. I like Lonnie Walker. I like DeJounte Murray. I love this young nucleus of guys. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's been all right this season. He's kind of fallen off. He's not as much in his prime as he used to be. But LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Now you have Montrezl Harrell. You have Dennis Schroeder. Like, Caldwell Pope's even, like, knocked down some nice threes in transition. To me, this is a no-brainer. I think the Lakers are winning this game. I hope it's close because I love Keldon Johnson. I believe he was from Kentucky, yes. I actually think he's one of the most underrated players. He thrived in the bubble. I made a bubble video back when my channel was, like, smaller. And I talked about Keldon Johnson. I'm a big fan of Keldon Johnson. He's a smooth style play, not very flashy, though. But the Lakers are winning this game. All right. So, Trailblazers versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum. As you guys know, CJ McCollum was a big reason the Trailblazers went on to beat the Lakers. Even though if it came playoff time, I still think the Lakers would win at the end of the day. But CJ McCollum was clutch down the stretch. You have guys like Damian Lillard, Yusuf Nurkic. I would actually like to see my boy Anthony Simons get more action. I believe he barely got action in that game. When I look at the Trailblazers and Clippers, you have Paul George, you have Damian Lillard, and you guys know they have that rivalry. Walking off that big three. He just kills Paul George. Or, Paul George is known for getting these buzzer beaters hit over him. Will Paul George come to play? Will he shut up Damian Lillard? That's the big question when it comes to this game. I think Serge Ibaka is going to be a big X factor of when it comes to his defensive length. He's hitting shots from the outside. But the Paul George and Damian Lillard matchup is going to be great. I'm going to have, you know what? I think the Clippers, they're going to try to overcome that adversity even more, even though they did win that game after getting blown up by the Mavericks. Give me the Clippers. I think the Clippers will win this game. Kawhi is questionable. He still is questionable. I believe he's a game-time decision. Of course, he got like a bunch of stitches. Just the blood all over the place was absolutely crazy to see. But I'm going to go for Paul George. Paul George, I don't like some of the things he says in the media. I think it's like really soft, some of the things he says. But yeah, it all comes down to if Kawhi plays. I need him in plays on my fantasy. But give me the Clippers. I think Kawhi, if he comes back, he's going to back up Paul George. It's like either Paul George is going to go like 3 for 20 or he's going to go like 10 for 16 or not even 10 for 16. 15 for 20 in this game or 15 for 22. Paul George is all bark, no bite. Let's get into the comments. Let's see what you guys are saying. Shout out to 22 people in here. Some people are getting notifications, some people aren't, but shout out to 21 people in here anyway. You guys are so much fun to like talk to and just talk NBA with for sure. Let's see what Dark says. Dark Nesh, shout out to you. I need Dame to go off, but at the same time, I also have Paul George. So that matchup will either make or break my team, I think he meant to say. Yeah, man. Paul George will go off. YB Jelly, thanks. Ethan, Knicks did have a great game. I got into that earlier. Don't worry, I'm going to have a Q&A session. So if you want to ask me any questions, that's going to be like later in the show. It's almost there. You be free to ask me any questions, man. But it's really good to see the Knicks get a W. Yeah, I got you, man. I got you, Darkness. Yeah, all depends on Kawhi plays. Paul George is all bark, no bite. Blazers versus Clippers is my game of the night. I think it's going to be a good game. I really do think so. I don't know why I'm so excited to watch like Keldon Johnson, those young guys, Lonnie Walker. He's so athletic. I think Spurs are an underrated team. Spurs are always under the radar because they're not fun to watch, but they're such a well-coached team. So well-coached. I never looked at the ESPN list, Turk. I love Jimmy Butler, though. I love the mentality he plays, but Jimmy Butler's so good. Brandon Ingram won Player of the Week. I did see that. It's amazing seeing the development and how much he's gotten better. Damian Lillard will do the business. I don't care who wins. I want it to be a good basketball game at the end of the day. All right, now let's get into the 2020-21 NBA rookies. Not really thoughts on that. So let me share my screen. Of course, our guy, Obi Toppin, is out with the injury, so we're not really going to talk about him much. We could talk about quickly, but we only saw preseason, so we might not really talk about him. But we saw the brand new element he can bring. Thoughts on your Pelicans? Actually, could you remember? I don't know if you're still going to be here. I'm just going to give you my thoughts real quick. You guys are moving in the right direction. It looks like Lonzo, his aggression, like his confidence has gone higher, and it actually looks like he's changed his mechanics. I've talked about Lonzo in my Kyrie Lewis Jr. video. You guys definitely need more spacing. That's why I wanted you guys to draft a Sadiq Bey or what's the guy from Vanderbilt? Oh my gosh, the Celtics got him. I can't think right now. Aaron Naismith. I want you guys to get one of those guys because you guys do need desperate shooting or spacing. Kyrie Lewis Jr., I like him, but did you guys like really draft him to be this backup guy? And if Lonzo has a big year, like what if Lonzo doesn't accept that? Like, are you guys confident rolling with Kyrie or Eric Bledsoe moving forward? I would want you guys to roll with a point guard that fits the timeline, but I like Zion if he stays healthy. I am a big fan of Steven Adams. If you guys could have him long term, he's young too. I don't think people realize how young he is. I love just his bully dog. Brand of basketball. Brandon Ingram, the big leap he's taken. I like guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I really like the direction the Pelicans are moving in. Van Gundy, I really like it, man. I like Patty Mills. I really do like Patty Mills. I'm gonna predict LaMelo winning Rookie of the Year. Interesting. I don't think he will because I don't think he'll have the opportunity because he'll come off the bench because they're a win-now-mode team. But we're going to get into that right now, y'all. Let me see. We're going to be doing a 1 through 14 most likely, and then we could do a big-time Q&A session because I love talking to you guys. I love hearing your guys' thoughts for sure. All right, so number one, of course, the Timberwolves drafted Anthony Edwards. He's pretty much became what I thought he was going to be. even though it's only the beginning. But all the reports were this man's a good player when locked in. When locked in. That's the big thing with Anthony Edwards. How much does he really love basketball as well? He's this difficult shot maker, but he's going to have lapses on defense. His shot selection. We all know how hard he plays, but can he do it on a consistent basis? Does he know when to play the passing lanes? Does he know when to keep his head straight up when he's on offense and make the right basketball play? But he's going to have efficient nights, and he's going to have inefficient nights. He may go like freaking 10 for 15, then the next night may go for like 7 for 20. We've seen that. It all comes down to his shot selection, his basketball IQ. And can he elevate the other guys around him? That's really the big thing, because his team at Georgia was not good. What's going on, MH? Thank you so much for being here. James Wiseman, easy rookie of the year. Yeah, we'll get into James Wiseman. We're talking about the rookies right now. YB Jelly says, Lonzo will get you good passes. He gets hate for his jump shot. He just needs to work. I think his jump shot's honestly getting better. I think his confidence getting better. His mechanics look a lot smoother. Looks way different than rookie year. But we'll see how it produces. And Lonzo's just lazy. We'll see. We'll see for sure. He kind of has like that no shucks mentality. But Anthony Edwards, he's a difficult shot maker. He has the ball on the string. He definitely has a lot to work on, though. In my opinion, Anthony Edwards, when it comes to the mental side of the game, if he really cares about basketball, he'll be a good game. He has this bully dog mentality. He's this grown man NBA body. All right, the Warriors drafted James Wiseman. In my first mock draft on this channel, I had James Wiseman going there. And then, of course, I had a different mentality of taking Denny, a plug-and-play guy. But Wiseman, I really liked when they picked Wiseman because he's an athletic freak that plays with a high motor. And they need someone that can get out and run with these shooters. Of course, it's a lot different with no Klay Thompson being there. But James Wiseman is an athletic freak. We didn't get to see the full package at Memphis. Now we're seeing the jump shot in the NBA because we didn't see him much at Memphis. He didn't really have to shoot it a lot from downtown, especially because he didn't play the greatest of competition. But he was called this unicorn coming out of high school. Put the ball on the floor, shoot it from downtown, even though he looks like an uncle at the cookout. That's like, I still got it when he shoots jump shots like behind his head, and it's definitely slow. But he's an athletic freak. I didn't realize how good he could put the ball on the floor. But he's definitely looking good for the Warriors. He's kind of fallen off lately, but it's only a few games of the season. So, again, these are like my early thoughts on it. But I love the motor he plays with. He has a good work ethic, a good head on his shoulders. And the Warriors want those no-nonsense guys. And he really fits like the program and the offense they run of get out and run. Once you grab the rebound, throw it ahead. And I really do think he has that capability in his game for sure. And I like Wiseman. I love what he's brought to the table. I love that he's shooting more from the outside for sure. And you need that in the Warriors offense. Well, you don't need him to shoot threes because they had guys like Bogut and JaVale McGee that crash the glass, hustle. They need those types of guys for sure. All right, so let's get into LaMelo Ball now. LaMelo Ball is so interesting. We've watched him in the preseason. Of course, from Australia. I remember in a mock draft, I actually accidentally said Austria when I actually meant to say Australia. I don't know why I said that. But LaMelo Ball is definitely known for his crazy passing vision. Like, his basketball IQ when it comes to passing the basketball. Sometimes it can be too flashy at times and it can result in turnovers. His jump shot looks better than Lonzo's, like not mechanically wise going in, entering the NBA, but he hasn't really got much of an opportunity due to this being a win-now team. Do I think he'd be starting if they didn't sign Hayward? Yes. Because Hayward, once you sign someone over $100 million, especially when you're like smaller market, you got to give him that big money. It's going to look like a good signing if he stays healthy, though. Then you're a win-now team. But if they didn't sign him, I think they would be rolling out guys like LaMelo. They would be rolling out the P.J. Washingtons, the Miles Bridges, even Cody Zeller would still be out there. Those really young guys. But LaMelo, we've seen his passing vision. But can he consistently be aggressive on offense? Is he going to take the right shots? But I really do believe he's going to be a good point guard if he's consistently there mentally, if he's consistently aggressive, when locked in defensively. He's good when locked in. That was a big question mark, the laziness. But we know his basketball IQ. When he's locked in defensively, he's solid, not great. But how good could he really be at LaMelo Ball? It all comes down to how hard he works. But sometimes you see open opportunities and he doesn't shoot it, but he just runs the offense so smoothly. Tyrese Halliburton, we'll get into him. I really like Halliburton. All right, Patrick Williams now. I've made a video on Patrick Williams. Of course, the Bulls drafted him 4th overall. Bulls fans were not happy about this. But luckily, I did a lot of studying on Patrick Williams from Florida State and talk about a freak athlete. But we're going to talk about the Florida State program first. They're a program that's not going to Immediately give freshmen minutes. Devin Vassell didn't start as a freshman. You had guys like Jonathan Isaac, who, yes, started, but he wasn't fantastic. He only put up 12 points per game because they're a very team-oriented offense. Same with Devin Vassell. I believe he averaged 12.7. They're a very team-oriented offense. They don't give the ball to one guy and say, get out the way. And Patrick Williams was a guy that has the physical tools. He was thriving, and then the COVID cut his season short. I talked about Patrick Williams in a couple of videos, my latest Bulls video, and I did a Patrick Williams video in the past. Sometimes he looks like someone who's never played basketball in his life. Like, if you look back at his college highlights, the true film of, like, that, the mechanics don't look that great. But this wasn't, like, the draft that, like, you had to pick someone else here, in my opinion, because there was no such thing as a reach in this draft. You could say he's a project, but I wouldn't really say he's a project. Because in my opinion, when I think of a project, I think of someone with the physical tools. They just don't have a specific skill set that's put together. His defense is good, so I don't think he's a project. He's good from mid-range territory. He's a freak athlete. He's really good defensively. He's such a good work ethic. And this is the type of draft that you can swing for the fences on a guy like Patrick Williams. They're like, why not? Like, no one after this, I think, is going to be a superstar. This isn't like there's a superstar there at 4 or a chance to be an all-star. So why not swing for the fences on a guy like Patrick Williams in this weak draft? Because who are people going to say we're going to pass on? Obi, but he has flaws in his game as well. Killing, like, he didn't play the highest of competition. Teo Maladon did when it came to overseas. Oneka, Denny, like, Denny is a plug-and-play guy, but is he going to be a star? And they really swung for the fences, and I kind of respect that. At 4 as well, you can't really take, like, a safe type of player. But, again, this wasn't the strongest of the draft. So I understood the Patrick Williams pick. Yes, he came off the bench, but Florida State really takes their development serious. James Wiseman is a good shot blocker. Yeah, I like Wiseman for sure. When we watch James Wiseman, he's really good in Golden State. Yeah, I like Wiseman. I think Tyrese Halliburton got a chance, not a flashy player. He's going to be just at worst a good, solid player off the bench too, to his basketball IQ. But yeah, I like Wiseman. I really love the motor he plays with for sure. Getting into Isaac Okoro, can't talk much about him, but I really liked what I saw in the preseason. Again, it is the preseason, and he didn't play the highest of competition, I believe, but he's out due to an injury right now. But the best defender in this class. So there's no question about that. Isaac Okoro is the best defensive player in this draft when it comes to his technique, the effort. When you think of a pure basketball player, you think of Isaac Okoro. Who's going to help his team win? Who's going to dive after loose balls? Who is going to just play hard and do things that result in winning basketball? And that's Isaac Okoro. The big question was his jump shot. That was definitely the big thing. But he's proven, at least in the preseason, because he's been hurt. I was like, at the least, he just needs to be a spot-up shooter, and he's proved he can be that in his NBA career. His jump shot doesn't look completely broken. He needs to get better from the charity stripe, but he's a bulldog. He's a mentally tough player. And no question, if he was there at 8, I think Tom Thibodeau would have went on to draft Isaac Okoro because he's a mentally tough player. He has a high defensive upside, long wingspan, or it's like 6'10", but he's like 6'7". He plays so hard. He's really athletic. Just best perimeter defensive player. He plays so hard, and he's definitely not soft. He's going to be built for the NBA, and he's going to be a very solid player for the Cavs for a long time. At worst, he's going to be solid due to his defense, and I think he's going to be able to be a spot-up shooter. I don't think he's going to be a Stanley Johnson. I hope he's not. I do think he's a better work ethic, and he has a lot of physical tools for sure. Yo, what's going on, Sports Critic? Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, Magic look great right now, man. They do. All right, now we have, but we'll see what Okoro does when he comes back from his injury. Onyeka Okongwu, I like this pick. I genuinely like this pick. I thought he was another really solid guy. Like, not a bust. He's going to be solid, but he does have the foot injury, which a lot of people thought he was going to drop there. And some people thought they're going to draft Obi to replace John Collins because John Collins is going to be a free agent. But they probably looked at Obi like he's a similar player to John Collins. Someone has a three-point shot, doesn't have defense, he's athletic. It's kind of the same thing, but Onyeka Okongwu, I really liked his defense, kind of prototypical old-school big man that could dominate down low. So we'll see what he does. All right, Killian Hayes is someone I really, really wanted to get into. Killian Hayes from France. Of course, you had guys like Teo Maledon, you had Alexis Pokusevski. You definitely had those overseas prospects. You have Denny Abdia. He played the highest or lowest competition, and he didn't really start a lot. So he had not the biggest of sample size due to the minutes, but he definitely got taken for his high scoring upside. And he showed flashes of that there and there. If it's a Euro step in his arsenal, the step back as well. And he's also smooth from the charity stripe, and he makes pinpoint passes, just over the head, bounce passes. He reads the floor so well. But I think he's really still adjusting to the speed and coverages of the defense in the NBA. Like, he saw certain things, like certain blitzes of double teams, like learning how to pass out of it overseas that, like, he wasn't going to see a lot of in the NBA. But he's actually kind of struggled with that, which kind of scared me. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I think he is going to adjust. I think he's a better shooter than what he is shooting right now. But he needs to do a better job taking it stronger to the basket, because I've seen some plays he got blocked. But I do like Killian. I love his smooth style play. I love it. He's a good playmaker. He also gets after it on defense. It's really early, but Suku's not playing much. And I just did not like the way the Pistons treated this offseason. I was like, they're rebuilding. I like what they're doing. But then they went out there. Jeremy Grant is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's going to have nights he puts up 20 points because his Pistons team's not good. But you drafted guys like Killian. You got Suku Demboya for the future, but then you go on to sign Jeremy Grant over $60 million. I get it, you're a smaller market. Came off of a solid season with Denver, 11, 12 points. But he's a guy that's going to cut to the basket. He's going to do the little things. Is he worth that money? Like, I get he's a really good defensive player. But I'd way rather see guys like Oneka, or not Oneka, Killian, guys like, who's the guy they got overseas? I just said his name, Suku Demboya. I would way rather see guys like that get an opportunity than get a guy like Jeremy Grant. That's going to be a number one option. Take shots away from this guy, these guys. But again, you want to try to build a winning culture, but giving out contracts like Plumlee, I'm not going to hate on them for not bringing back Christian Wood, because I personally don't think Wood wanted to be a Piston, because they had enough money to give Wood money. They had enough money for Wood, and he's balling with the Rockets. His versatility from downtown. But Killian Hayes, he has a smooth style of play. He's not the most athletic. His speed is definitely the big question mark, but I think he has enough moves in his arsenal. It's going to take some time, but I think he will be a good player. Only time will tell. Malachi Flynn, are you talking about, brother? Are you talking about Malachi Flynn? He could shoot the basketball very well. I liked him, of course, entering this draft. But they're Tampa Bay now. Knicks looking good. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Knicks. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Julius Randle looks like he's matured his game. He was like my least favorite Knick, but a lot of people are getting high on him. It's only 4 games in. Kind of see it on a consistent basis. People are getting way too high on Julius Randle. And I think the Knicks are going to have to accept something. If Julius Randle's so good, I wouldn't let him go. If he's good enough to pass the basketball and know when to pass the ball, I think they'll have to accept not everyone's going to be a star. When Knicks fans, when we draft someone, they think they have to be a star. And people may call me crazy, but Obi Toppin, we drafted 8th overall. Look at the history of the 8th overall pick. We don't need Obi to, of course, we want a star. But he can still be a very nice player off the bench, Obi Toppin. If Randle continues to mature his game, this is a big if. People think bench. Are you kidding me? Bench? Obi Toppin, the guy that averaged 20 points per game? This is a big what if. But you can still be a very productive player off the bench. Look at a guy like a Lou Williams. There's very solid players that come off bench, off the bench. But we'll see what happens. He has the injury, and I didn't think he was going to play ahead of him in general. I don't think he's ready, but he's 22 years old, so he's going to have to be ready soon. Kind of wish we drafted Kyra. Kyra hasn't been great. I was the biggest of Kyra fan. He led his conference in turnovers. I didn't know his 3-point shot was going to translate. His defense wasn't great. Tyrese Halliburton is the big guy. That maybe could have said. Zeke Najee. Why? What happened, Anthony? What happened, Anthony? All right, so Obi Toppin, can't talk about him. Hasn't played an NBA game yet. What happened? I don't know what's going on. But yeah, getting into Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, of course, we took from Dane. Like, I was not, like, I was even Like, I was even when we drafted him. Of course, he's good value, but I wanted that instant impact guy, Devin Vassell. There's a reason I wanted a guy like him. Not because he's going to be some star. It's because you know what you're getting with him. You know what you're getting with a guy like him. Sadiq Bey. Plug and play. Good defensive guy. Could shoot the ball from the outside. Good athlete. You know what he's bringing to the table. He's going to be that Mikal Bridges type of guy. I'm sorry, Anthony, for bringing that up. He is going to be just a very solid player. You don't need to take someone. You don't have to swing for the fences. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. There's gonna be trolls like that. Just block them if that happens. All right, Anthony. But yeah, there's gonna be people like that. But Obi Toppin. Yeah, I was talking about Obi Toppin. Yeah, I wanted that plug and play guy, not because he's gonna be a star, but a guy that's just gonna make an instant impact right away. And he brings a winning culture of winning basketball, coming from a strict program of Florida State as well. But Obi Toppin needs to get better on the defense side of the basketball. His footwork needs to get better. He's not polished in the post. I really don't like the role they're playing him in of the outside. I don't know if that's him or the role the Knicks are giving him. But he's not a good enough shooter to be out there. He has shooting potential, but he's 22 years old. You got to play him throughout his strengths. Get those cuts to the basket, those pin downs. He has freakish athleticism. For sure, a guy like Obi Toppin. And you got to play him around the basket. But he's played kind of scary. He's played kind of soft, which kind of scares me when it comes to Obi Toppin. But he's only played one game, so we'll see. But his positioning of his footwork on defense needs help. He needs a lot of work when it comes to his game, but he's an underrated passer. We'll see what happens with Obi Toppin for sure. Moving on to Deni Avdija, the Wizards picked him. He was mocked like top 5. Some people thought the Bulls were going to draft him. The king of the fourth quarter, when he saw they're going to get the 4th overall pick, a lot of people thought he was going to, he thought they were going to draft him. But Deni Avdija, he's been what I kind of expected, a plug-and-play guy. His jump shot was a big question mark. It's been all right. It was pretty good in the preseason, but he's a guy that's going to facilitate. He's going to make the right passes. He's going to play good defense. He's just a very fundamentally sound player. Well, I made a video on Quickly. I made an update video. Quickly is actually questionable now, so he should be back soon. If not next game, the game after. And Obi's going to be out like a few weeks. So it's definitely a serious injury when it comes to Obi Toppin. But Jalen Smith, he hasn't got much action, but I love watching him. His ability to just he moves like a guard. Like the way they give him the basketball off handoffs or working around screens. Like he comes off screens like a guard and he just can shoot the basketball. Definitely needs to get stronger, but I really like Jalen Smith. He's a guy I would have wanted at like 27, but he didn't get there. Devin Vassell, like I talked about him, a plug-and-play guy. Hasn't got much of an opportunity, but he can shoot that thing. And there's a lot of like those videos surfacing. How good of a shooter is he really? Because of his mechanics. See, Tyrese Halliburton. Some people wanted me to talk about Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton, I really liked out of Iowa State. Did I think he's going to be a true point guard? No. I've really loved the role he's playing in with Sacramento. Is he a guy that's you could just give him ball handling duties right off the bat? Just be your point guard of the future. No, he's a guy you definitely have to ease in. He's like a 2/1, and I thought Sacramento was the perfect position for him. At worst, he's going to be a very solid backup due to his basketball IQ, his ability to see things like others don't. He's a great passer. He can shoot the ball, more of a catch-and-shoot guy. He may occasionally shoot it off the dribble, but he plays really good defense. He's not crazy athletic, but he's such a smart player. His handle needs to get better, but it has improved since high school in Iowa State. But having a guy like De'Aaron Fox, his speed and quickness, and the smart and feel of the game of Tyrese Halliburton that knows the game so well, he's definitely a guy that's really going to be like good off the ball. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be successful because he does those little things. Kyrie Lewis Jr. hasn't got much action. There's actually some reports. Of course, they Bledsoe Lonzo. So there's some reports he may go down in the G League. Aaron Naismith, haven't seen much of him. He hasn't played much. Cole Anthony, he's proven to be a really good scorer. It all comes down to his basketball IQ, knowing when to give up the basketball. And he plays hard on both ends of the floor. Sometimes he can play reckless, but he has this ability to hit tough shots off the dribble, get to the rack. I really do like his brand of basketball. But I went one pick accidentally over the lottery. So let me stop sharing my screen. Now we get to do Q&A. Let me get to my banners here. I believe it's Q&A next. But yeah, it's Q&A, Knicks/broad NBA talk. If you guys have like any questions, be free to put in this chat because this is like the segment of now the Q&A. You can ask Knicks/broad NBA questions. But let me read some of these. So. Well, Kyra played last night, but it was garbage time. Yeah, I don't think Kyra's ready. Like, he is a guy that's like, he's kind of like Dennis Smith Jr. coming out. Like, he has this like athleticism and he has a lot of upside, but he has to learn how to play the point guard position, you know? The Najee reminds you of Chris Bosh. That's high praise. You think we can make it to the 3rd seed, or what's your favorite team, brother? If you guys have any questions, be free to put it in the chat. This is the Q&A session. If we sneak in the playoffs, it'll be interesting. That'll be such a Knicks thing to do, especially in like a stacked draft. And then we still don't get our point guard, and then like what point guard are we gonna get? That's the only thing. Like, I want to see this team in the playoffs, but I kind of don't. Long term, it's the best to be like that 10th, 11th seed, show that you improved, but then get your point guard in the draft because we need a point guard. We do. I'm not trying to roll with Payne again or someone else, especially in like gotta look towards the future. But again, you want to build that winning culture where you can still be competitive but not make the playoffs. We need talent. We need talent. Can't afford. You think Knicks? See, I'm sorry. I love your optimistic thinking, but I don't think the Knicks are going to be a 3rd seed. I do not think that. If you have any questions, be free to put them in the chat, guys. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Kyra. What do you think our record will be? Jonty, thanks so much for being here. I greatly appreciate the question. Of course, we do have a 72-game season. It is cut shorter. I know a lot of people, I don't want to be that person that takes away the optimism. We're only 4 games in. We're only 4 games in. We beat the Cavs, we beat the Bucks. I get it. But will this team make the playoffs? I personally don't think so. This team still has a lot of growing to do. We're number 1 in guarding the 3-point line and making 3-pointers. But we left the Cavs open for so many threes. They just happened to miss them. Seti Osman, Dante Exum. We have a lot of work to do. But I think we'll win 27 games. 27. I think we'll improve. I don't think we'll make the playoffs like other people do. Well, we'll see. It looks like he's done it already, but we have to see it improve. What seed will the Magic be? It's too early for me to answer any seeds. We're only 4 games in, but maybe like the 6th, 7th seed. Precious Achiuwa, I've actually made a video on him. It was like really funny when I made a video on him. Like when I uploaded it, like when it was up for a week, it was like at 2,000 views, and then when he was drafted by the Heat, it went up to like 10,000 because like so many people wanted to watch like what Precious Achiuwa brings to the table. But he has this rim running ability. He's obviously really athletic. He can guard the rim, and he moves so well for his size coming out of Memphis. And I don't think if it wasn't for James Wiseman being suspended, I don't know if he would have got that opportunity, even though he was a beast in high school. But I watched the film. He wasn't afraid to shoot threes, but I think that he are going to play him throughout his strength. So I don't think he's going to shoot threes, but I do like Achiuwa. That would be interesting if they miss the playoffs. Malachi Flynn. I've seen him in the preseason. I've not seen any like Raptors games really. I know he could shoot the rock really well and play good defense. He's not the tallest. He stays undersized, but there's no such thing as being undersized anymore, in my opinion. Because we've seen guys like Isaiah Thomas have MVP caliber years. I don't believe in the being too small type of thing in the NBA. That's an interesting hot take. Heat missed playoffs. Wow. Like, I'm one of those guys, I want to see the Knicks make the playoffs, but do I think it would be good enough long-term for us? Like, would it be good long-term for us? No, because of this upcoming stacked draft. We desperately need a point guard. I'm not rolling into the next season with Payton. As much as I would love to see us. You have to, like, think long-term with it. But would I be complaining? No. OG Anunoby had a great game last night, I believe, or the night before. He had like 20 something. But Chris Boucher definitely needs to thrive. Knicks may finish 8th. My prediction is I think Knicks will finish with the 9th or 10th seed. I'm going to go 10th seed because we're only 4 games in. This is where like your teams could trick you. Like if your team's like freaking 4-0 or 0-4, like that 0-4 team, the Raptors may turn things around. We saw it like last year. Some teams started off slow and then they just turned up. Teams that were so good, they fell off, started going on losing streaks. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. Dylan Brooks goes. I think Dylan Brooks is a really underrated player. He could definitely shoot the basketball. Of course, plays for Memphis. He went to Oregon, I believe. Do you live in that area, or he didn't go to school locally? Achua was like, well, then there's 2 BAMs on that team, but yeah, he brings a lot to the table. Would you trade Randall for someone like Buddy Hield if they're really confident in Obi moving forward? Yes. But the way they're both playing great, though, we'll see what happens. But yes, we need shooting on this team. I don't know where Harden's going to go. He had like new teams to his list, like the Celtics. What was the team Embiid had 0 points against? Was it the Raptors? Obviously, yeah, last night he was unbelievable. Dwayne Bacon, I liked him at Florida State. He's definitely a scorer, and he can play some defense. Yeah, Harden's a guy. He doesn't need to be in shape. Like his style of play, it's definitely like herky jerky, get to the charity stripe. You could say play styles is like interesting and just boring to watch. But his ability to just like do that rip through move and get people's like arms locked and his ability to initiate contacts like so smart. Though I don't think people really look at it that way. They just say his my stomach growled. His play style is really lazy. People just think of that. Lowry's good at drawing fouls, specifically charges. I try not to think about that. Yeah. Never happened, Anthony. Never happened. But I hope you guys had a good Christmas. Because I believe I said, like, I hope you guys had a good Christmas in one of my videos, but I went live, like, a day before Christmas. But I'll go live for, like, 10 more minutes. Got some things to do. Been live for, like, 59 minutes. I appreciate you guys being here. Especially when, like, the notifications been inconsistent and still, like, up to 30 people join. Like, I appreciate that. Hit him with the hard and step back. Not right now. Not right now. Don't really have the room to do that right now. But yeah, I like the new text of this on StreamYard. I go back to school on the 4th, I believe. My virtual's over on the 11th. So a while. Like I'm going back to school, like physical school on the 11th. I think Ibaka is definitely a big reason, brother. That's a really good question. It's probably a combination of a bunch of things. They all have to step up their game. I don't do post-game live streams, but I do post-game videos. Is that a Spreewell jersey in your profile picture? My stomach growling out here. I don't want to answer that because I don't want to be the reason it's a bad year, if it is. You're going back the 11th too? Well, there you go. It's a weird coincidence. But if you guys don't have any more questions, I may end it. But if you do have more, I'll keep going. Yeah, we'll see what happens, brother. Hopefully it is a better year, though. Oh, it's all right, Alexis. I appreciate being here. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Someone just called me. But yeah, I appreciate being here, Alexis. I really appreciate that. I don't know why people aren't getting notifications. That's an iffy question because I don't. His personality in the locker room wouldn't fit anywhere. So I don't know. He's a very ball dominant player, and I don't think he would equal winning an NBA championship, though. Yeah, Ben Simmons. I don't know this deal. They would go farther, though. Don't get me wrong. It would become a better team. They might actually go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, no life. No life for sure, Anthony. Just down in their parents' basement, just making accounts. Nothing better to do. Just gotta have sympathy for people like that. They have no life. Yo, what's going on, EJ? Thank you so much for being here. He said, I'm not feeling Bullock's hair. I'm not a big fan of his hair either. Great game yesterday, though. How does he shoot so well when it looks like two little dinglings hanging in front of his... I don't know, man. But when he was shooting a lot of short jumpers, that's the reason why. It hit his hair every time. Like I said in my one video, it's like he's entering a front rim contest. Some of them hit the front rim every time. Yeah, that's a good question, man. But at the end of the day, he stepped up. We needed him to, especially with Alec Burks being out with that injury. But now he's upgraded to questionable, which is good because we need Alec Burks contributing off the bench. But hopefully he doesn't come back rusty. We'll see what happens. And Quickly is upgraded to questionable, so I'm excited to see Quickly. If you see it, just block him. But yeah, that's a funny comment, AJ. Two little dinglings hanging in front of his grill. Sort of looks like, yo, what's going on, Walter? Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, Frank, remember when he had those highlights? Those look like French fries. Thank you so much for being here, Walter. Do you think Warriors will make the playoffs? The way their defense has been, it's been pathetic. Kelly Oubre is going to have to step up. Andrew Wiggins is going to have to be more efficient. It's only the beginning of the season, though, but that's a really good question. And you're asking a lot out of Wiseman, especially with Clay being out. They need a brand new element of offense, especially if guys like Wiggins and Oubre are off. What's going on, Monjay? Thanks for being here. He has a question. Do you think the team should flip Burks, Bullock, and possibly Randall for picks? Burks and Bullock are on cheap contracts, so they'll be very desirable. Randall has stepped up, so his value has gone up. See, that is a very good question, man. That's a very good question. There's some people that would hold on to Randall if his game continues to mature. My mindset is we have to look towards the future, or the Knicks are going to look at it and accept it like, Obi could still be a very valuable player off the bench. Some people think of the bench like, oh, it's the bench, like only trash players on the bench, but there's some very valuable players in the NBA that come off the bench, like Lou Williams. But it's a big what if. We're only 4 games into the season. And the thing with Burks, I wouldn't mind either one. If we flip him for picks, because he's a cheap contract, only $1 million, 6 years, and he would want to probably go to a championship contending team, or a championship contending team would probably want him. Maybe the Warriors would want him back. I'm not saying they're a championship contending team, but maybe a team like the Bucks. And it's always good to have that veteran leadership, though. It's always good to have that glue guy that could just hold the young guys accountable in practice, or just For example, coming off the bench like Knox, Frank, just those young guys for sure. Even if it quickly comes off the bench to start off because he needs to still get acclimated to the NBA, especially coming off of an injury. He may be rusty and not ready to start. Like, you don't want all those young guys coming out there at once. You want that veteran to teach them the ways. But I wouldn't mind holding on to a guy like Burks that fits today's NBA. He's 28, 29 years old, can shoot the ball, play defense, and he's on a cheap deal. Bring him back on a team-friendly deal would be a nice guy to have long-term. But I wouldn't mind flipping anything for, like, I wouldn't mind flipping a pick for him. Bullock, I want gone. Not the biggest of Bullock guy. Randall, if there's the right price or we get something good in exchange, yes, I wouldn't mind trading Randall. But Randall, people need to realize, though, Randall's not a bum. When he plays smart basketball, he's a good player. And if he continues to mature his game and we trade him, in my opinion, that makes no sense. But yet, there's a bunch of different perspectives when it comes to that. Yeah, the Warriors did win 2 straight ever since Curry fixed his hair. Yeah, Curry didn't ball out last night. Yeah, it sucks Klay Thompson got hurt again. That just sucks. That's bad luck. What time are Knicks games for you? Because I'm from New Zealand, and like lunchtime is when wow, you're from New Zealand. That's amazing. First off, I want to thank you so much for the great amount of support. I love that. I love when there's just content creators or not content creators, subscribers of mine that are like all around the world. And just thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're doing well in New Zealand. I hope everything's well. But the games are usually at, I don't know if you know the time zones, but it's like at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time most of the time. But the games are at different times. Like it's usually around like 7:30 or like 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time though. But that's awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much. But yeah, it really sucks Klay got hurt. That got me pretty sad, I'm not going to lie. Should I pull up the YouTube live chat, though? Because sometimes that's not behind, and like StreamYard's kind of behind sometimes. If you know what I mean. But yeah, thank you so much, John Say, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. You're amazing, dude. That's a really good question. Shout out to New Zealand. They're 6 hours behind or they're 6 hours ahead? Behind 6 hours, I think you're trying to say? Okay. So your games are usually at like 6, 5, 4. Yeah, your games are like at 1, so yeah, lunchtime. Okay, so that makes sense. But is that if that's a Sprewell jersey, or is that J.R. Smith? I think it's one of those. Who's your favorite Knick? Like, what made you become a Knicks fan, John T? What made you become a Knicks fan? Was it a player? Did you just always love basketball? How were you introduced to basketball? Because that's like, I always thought that was like really cool. How people from overseas just love basketball, or from all around the world. How they found out about it. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, we'll see if the Warriors keep it up. That should be really interesting. Monjay, I think this is going to be a really good question. Like, you're typing out these good questions. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for being here and being a great supporter of the channel. Is it me, or does it seem like Quickly is the only one who passes the ball to Knox? I see Knox wide open for threes all the time, and the ball rarely goes to him, especially when Payne's at point guard. I've recognized that. It seems like Payne loves passing to Randall, and Randall loves passing to Payne. That is actually a very interesting thing, for sure. But Quickly, I don't think it's just Knox. Quickly does a good job getting everyone involved. But yeah, you're not the only one that noticed that. I've noticed that as well. And that's definitely a good job by you, like really paying attention and noticing that in the games. I don't know why he does that. Colin Turk has a question. But yeah, great question, Monjay. Do you think Giannis will ever win a championship with the Bucks, or is he forever destined to fall short? Obviously, I love the move by Giannis. From a competitive standpoint, he's loyal. I never thought he was going to leave the Bucks. I didn't think he was going to the Mavericks, the Raptors. Everyone thought he was going to go to one of those teams. But I love the loyalty. I love him staying with one team, wanting to bring a championship to the team that believed in him. Like he said in his MVP speech, his team believes in me. Thank you so much to them for believing in me. And even that old GM, do they still have Hammond? What's the name of their GM now? I believe it was Hammond at the time, John Hammond or something like that. Maybe wrong with that. But do I think he'll win a championship? Sadly, no. Do I want him to? Yes, I would love to see Giannis win a championship with the Bucks. I would love that. They haven't won a championship since Oscar Robertson days. Like, that's a long time ago. Of course, he was a walking triple-double as well, but I really hope he's not destined to fall short. I like the pieces of Drew Holiday, but is Drew Holiday, like really one of those guys, like, that's going to help win a championship as, like, third option? Yeah, I bet there is trolls, Anthony. I bet there is. Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. Quickly Knox connection. See, I don't think it's just that either, because they're both actually Quickly played 2 years, so that's actually. But Knox, this is his 3rd year, so yeah, they didn't play together in general. Okay, Sports Critic, thank you for pointing that out, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. He's actually I actually like him as a GM, but the Quickly Knox connection, yeah, I don't think it is, because what is it? Knox's 3rd year in the league, I believe so, and Quickly played 2 years, but I still don't think he was there. Knox was like a rookie when Quickly was a freshman, but maybe I just think Quickly does a good job getting everyone involved. See what John T says here. My first game that I watched was Melo in 2016 and KP, and I just stuck with them. Yeah, KP was definitely fun to watch, but that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So is Melo your favorite player, or I'm guessing it's Sprewell because your profile picture? Sprewell definitely played really hard. Never saw him, but he was athletic. He was part of a finals team that didn't win, though. Played the Spurs, the lockout year, 8th seed, Allen Houston. It really sucks that we failed to really surround Ewing with a great team until when, like, his knees were breaking down. Oh, New Zealand got big on basketball in 2016. I did not know that. Yo, Michael, thank you so much for the super chat, man. You did not have to do that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your great amount of support. You've super chatted in the past. I believe I've seen you comment on videos, or you just joined my live streams. I greatly appreciate that, man. Again, thank you so much. Just you guys being here in general, I appreciate it. It says, salute to Knicks Nation. Salute to the chat. Thank you so much for being here, man. I hope you're doing well. Shout out to you, Michael. Greatly appreciate it, dude. And shout out to everyone being here. Sports Critic, EJ, John C, Michael. Again, thank you so much, man. Anthony, I appreciate you taking care of the chat. I know it's stupid people. I apologize. Colin Turk, Manje, Karam, Brother, Column, just everyone. You guys are amazing. Walter in the chat. I love talking NBA with you guys. Noah learned the Thunder brand of basketball. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on, what are your thoughts, Karam, on the Thunder's brand new head coach? Of course, he coached the G League, and he did a good job playing those players around his strengths, in the G League, even though they weren't the most talented. What are your thoughts on the Thunder brand new head coach? Do you like him? Thunder, brother got a question. Thank you so much, man. Who do you think will win the playoffs or win the championship? I know LeBron James will win, but there's Kawhi Leonard, and then there's the Knicks. Whew. Will the Lakers win the championship? Will they go back to back? See, they might, because they have Dennis Schroeder, they have Montrezl Harrell. So that's such a tough question, because I don't think the Bucks are ready. I don't think the Celtics are ready. You know what, Mir? Magic won the championship. Book it. No, I'm kidding. I don't think that'll happen, but I think the Magic will improve. I like Cole Anthony a lot. Yo, Omar, thank you so much for super chat, man. I greatly appreciate that. You did not have to do that. Appreciate the love. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. You had a great holiday, and you're doing awesome. Omar says, I believe in the Knicks this year since we're playing better than last year. We'll see. Baby steps. Hopefully we continue to improve as a basketball team. Hopefully we do, for sure. Thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that. But the Nets, third team, I'm not going to count on either. Kevin Durant. Some people said Kevin Durant was going to return back to his form. A lot of people think I hate the Nets. I don't hate the Nets. A lot of Knicks fans hate the Nets. There's never been this rivalry. People say because we didn't get Kevin Durant and Kyrie. At one point, I was like, maybe we're going to get Kevin Durant, but I never thought it was, locked in stone. So we don't have the grace of organization, and we're not going to get anyone until we have stability of when it comes to the staff, the front office, and bring a winning culture. But no, I love Kevin Durant. A lot of people don't like Kevin Durant because of the competitive standpoint. I didn't like that move with the Warriors, but he's one of the most effortless scorers I've ever seen. But I hope Jonathan Isaac could stay healthy. I like guys like Jonathan Isaac. I like Cole Anthony. I like those guys. See what Monjay has here. I would really like to see Ntilikina play with Robinson. I've been happy with his play this year, but I feel like he has these unsuccessful lobs to Noel that would be successful with Robinson. Robinson catches everything. But yeah, we're not accurate with that alley-oop passes. Of course, the big game that he was successful, Frank, was with Mitchell Robinson, but it's the consistency with Frank. Like, can he consistently facilitate? That's the thing. Yo, Iverson Vlogs, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. How are you? Yeah, I like Isaac. His defense is amazing. And he got better on offense. Hate the Rockets, and it's fun. They'll be god-awful in a few years. Yeah, maybe, man. And they never won a championship. And it was crazy because I was talking to my boy MH, and I was like, a random thought, the Rockets should blow it up. And most likely that's going to happen. It's crazy. The only teams I truly hate are Chicago, Philly, and Boston. I get the Philly thing. Boston, Chicago. Chicago's interesting. Yeah, I love Giannis's story. Of course, poverty. He had to go out, like, sell stuff for his family to get money so then his family could be upright. Just averaging 6 points per game, being this project, putting everything together, strong work ethic. Like, I don't think people really appreciate the little things when it comes to Giannis's game. They think he has no skills, but he just does such a great job utilizing his profile, and there's so many players that don't know how to do that. And he moves so well at 6'10". But yeah, he's gonna be a two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player. Yep. I want a star, dude. We need to nail, like, we'll see what pick we have in this upcoming draft. But that's the thing. If we make the playoffs, what are we really gonna do? Like, do you trust Payne at point guard? I know we'll get that experience of winning culture, but like, it would be such a Knicks thing if we go to the playoffs, get killed in the first round. I know I want to see this team in the playoffs too, but this is supposed to be an upcoming stacked draft. That's a scary thing. Yeah, they're expensive here too, John C. Well, Rivers is upgraded to questionable, so he's doing some, like, physical drills, and his groin's okay now. Yeah, Omar, they're expensive, dude. Would trade for Harden if you can get. Are you asking me, Karen? Thank you so much for being here, by the way. Would trade for Harden if you can get Kawhi Leonard. Are you asking, like, Knicks fans like me? I'm a Knicks fan. Realistically, that's not happening. Give me Kawhi Leonard, but we'll see. I don't think that's happening. If the Knicks wind up being sellers at the deadline, do you see a fire sale? There's not much on the books other than Randall, but point guards are surplus for us. We have so many point guards. If it's Jared Harper, Austin Rivers, Frank, quickly may translate to a point guard. Alfred Payton. We have so many right now. It's going to be Dennis Smith Jr. It's going to be interesting what we do, man. If Randall continues to mature his game, he may still be here. But we'll see what happens. MVP prediction? Give me Kevin Durant. But it's probably going to be Giannis again. But I'll pick KD. Me too, Monjay. I'm all about the development this year. Of course, you want to win, but these guys that are balling, they're not a part of the future. We'll see if Randall is, but Payne, I don't care. Like, he's producing, he's helping us win, but he's not a part of the future. Yeah, a lot of people thought DSJ was good in Dallas. He was inefficient, didn't play defense. He's just he's gotten better defensively, but he's a very individual basketball player. He's not a winner. Like, he's not a guy that's going to get others involved. Not a good shooter. Yeah, that's a really good point or more, especially the way he's playing it. If he matures his game, he may go off somewhere and just have a very solid role. I understand. I agree. But if he continues to be very ball dominant and, like, of course, he's playing smart. He's still a 9 turnovers, though. Of course, Cade Cunningham is a dream, but realistically, like a Jalen Suggs. I really like his passing. Better shooter than I thought. But I wouldn't mind a Jalen Suggs. I know he's a 2-sport athlete, but hopefully he's committed to basketball. He doesn't play football anymore, but he played quarterback, I remember. Like in high school, I watched a documentary on him. He was decent, but he was just like high volume, shoots a lot of shots, doesn't equal winning basketball. Never been a fan of Dennis Smith Jr. Like, my optimistic thinking was like in the Porzingis trade, maybe we have our point guard of the future, but we're just like Bears when it comes to quarterback, when it comes to point guard. DSJ needs to change the scenery like Fultz did, preferably somewhere small market, maybe his hometown area, Charlotte, as a backup. See, Dennis Smith Jr. is that type of player. I don't think he would want to be a backup, though. I think he has this ego. He wants to be the starter. Oh, of course. That's like my motto. Is that still my motto? Or was that? I don't know if that's my motto or was that my motto on the other channels. Like, have a humble day or night. Peace out, Joe. Do I still say that? I don't see, because I say it like I don't think about it anymore. But yeah, man, have a good one. I appreciate your support. I agree, Omar. Obi needs to prove it. Like, they need to be so confident in Obi. Jalen Brunson, I haven't seen much of him. I know he's like a smaller guard. Does he still play for Dallas? But I don't really follow Jalen Brunson like that. But I liked him at Villanova. If you watch college basketball, well, Cade Cunningham's the number 1, but we're not getting the first pick. Realistically, I wish. Yeah, especially the way he's playing. If he was like still ball dominant and making like bad decisions with the ball, I would understand it. But the way he's playing, I believe Brunson's just a very he's a guy that plays really hard. He could shoot it. He's gotten better shooting the ball, but I haven't really followed him, to be completely honest. Yo, Joshua, thank you so much for being here, man. Thank you so much for being a member and being a great supporter of the channel. If you ever have any video suggestions, just let me know, man, and I'll try to make videos on it. If it's Knicks videos, broad NBA, I'll try to get on it for sure. But thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. Over under on Hawks, 39 wins. Of course, it's a 72-game season. Ooh, that's a good question. They brought the veteran presence of Rondo, Gallinari. They have that good mixture of young guys and veterans. I'm going to go over, and they're going to win exactly 40 games. They're going to win exactly 40 games. That's a really good question. Yeah, if he was good enough, you'd be starting Monjay. All right, Karen has a question. If the Knicks make it to the playoffs and show Kawhi Leonard that we are a stable franchise, Kawhi Leonard should be interested in the Knicks and asked to trade for James Harden. James Harden, of course, I wouldn't mind James Harden. James Harden's a spectacular player, but it seems like he's always had problems in the locker room. He's not a great leader, and he's not a guy I don't think that's going to win a championship, his style of play, personally. Kawhi, I'm all for, but that's where it gets iffy. I'm not a St. John's fan, but we could have Meta World Peace. That's all I'm going to say. But we picked the guy that got dunked on by Vince Carter in the Olympic game. What's going on? Thank you so much for being here. Siderns, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Siderns, thank you so much for being here. Do you think Brunson would be a good fit with the Knicks? We already have so many guards. I personally don't want him. Kawhi, they have totally different personalities, Kawhi and Harden. It's really interesting. But I'm going to answer a few more questions, then I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are amazing supporters. If you're new to the channel, be free to click that subscribe one. Smash the like button as well if you enjoy this content. If you ever have any video suggestions, just specifically Josh, thanks so much for being a member. I really greatly appreciate that. It's optional, and you did it, which is just crazy. Thank you so much. Be free to leave it down below in the comment section, like on this video or in the chat. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Yeah, Hornets plays a lot of ice football. Did you see the movie Soul? And did you see the hilarious shot? Oh yes, I did see that. The little animated girl was throwing stuff like, "I love messing with this team all the time," or "I mess with this team all the time," and then it's like the Knicks are about to win, and then this random animated player got like rejected at the rim. Yeah, I saw that. That's so disrespectful. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, YB Jelly. You have a great night. You have a great night or good day, whatever time it is there. All right, man, Anthony. I appreciate being here as always. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Have a good one. Never seen Soul. Might have to check it out. He's on the Suns. He's on the Suns. Every Wednesday. Every Wednesday they're going to be. I'm going to try to do them every Wednesday. Call them. Just so you guys know. Tell your friends. Tell your Twitter that I'm going to be live every Wednesday. This is going to be like the show. But yeah, I'm going to answer like if you guys have a few more questions, I'll answer them. If not, I will end it. Appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Yeah, again, shout out to Josh for being a member. Watch any other sports? Baseball casually. Football, my second favorite sport. I'm a Giants fan. Adib, thanks so much for being here, by the way. How are you, Adib? Hope we're doing awesome. But yeah, every Wednesday column. Anyone wondering? Yeah, exactly. He'll definitely elevate other guys around him. I think RJ would be better. Mitchell Robinson in those pick and rolls. His ability to open up the floor, he can shoot the ball. He's effortless. His ability to catch guys on his hip and shoot the ball as well. Like, it sucks he's older because like I would still take him in a heartbeat. It is the contract. Doesn't fit the timeline, but gosh, he would just work wonders for the young guys like he did with Shea and those other guys. Excuse me. Monjay, I love your questions. I love your thoughts for sure. Shout out to you as well, Josh. You too, Colin. Stay safe, man. Appreciate you. Hope everyone's staying safe. I love to see Harden, Irving, and Durant in the same locker room and imploding. I'm a Nets hater. I don't care that they got Durant and Irving, but they keep trolling the Knicks, trying to be NY's team. Yeah, man, I heard the ratings are going up, and I think the ratings are only going up because they have Kevin Durant. At the end of the day, will always be a Knicks town, in my opinion, no matter how good they are. But yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. I really do appreciate that, concert. Thank you, brother. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to head out as well. I appreciate you guys' support like crazy. This channel's not possible without you guys. You guys are the reason I love going live. You guys are the reason I love uploading videos. I love hearing your guys' like insight or your thoughts and stuff in the Knicks world, NBA world. I'm going to do a bunch of Knicks content like whenever there's news coming out. I might do some like pregame or game previews there and there, but you know I'm going to have a post-game after every single Knicks video. Grind doesn't stop. Again, thank you guys so much for 1K, 2,000 subscribers, and not even a year. Like, you guys are absolutely amazing. Like, this channel was not possible without you guys. It was a big risk, but it's really worth the risk because I appreciate you guys' support. I love what I'm doing here. It's so much fun. But yeah, brother, have a great night. Josh, have a good one. I love the energy off the question. I'm totally with you. Fake NYC team, that BS. Yeah, let's go, Joshua. Let's go. I believe that's a thumbs up emoji. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Monjay. I appreciate all your great questions. Appreciate that. Brother Joshua, thanks so much for being a great supporter of the channel. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream when you were here. This is going to be every Wednesday, so set that on your calendar. These streams will be every Wednesday or a show. Tweet it out on Twitter. Let your family know. Let your friends know. Just really want to blow up the show and just try to put out as much Knicks content as possible. If it's post game, if it's broad NBA content, I love talking basketball. But yeah, I love you, Dad. I love all you guys. You guys are amazing. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.